Spud, what's crack? What story? What have you made up to yourself?
What was it? There was something. Yeah, you ever heard of Princess Daisy? You ever heard of her? She was like the main clunge object of the 1800s. You ever heard of her?
No, never heard of her.
She was big with the old Habsburgs, or she was a Habsburg, but everyone wanted to get into her knickers anyway. Everyone.
All right.
Yeah, she was supposed to be drop dead gorgeous. There's a place not far from me, and I was meeting friends of mine yesterday called Pshina, which is impossible to say. And
but you just did.
Pshina. I'm saying it wrong. Right. Butcher this language, so I do. But it's not my fault. Polish is a bastard. No, don't be giving out. That's xenophobic and stuff. It's a grand language. It's just very different.
No, anyway. Is it xenophobic? Are you not allowed to say anything bad about other places other than the place you're from?
I don't know anymore. I don't.
Neither do I.
No, someone get offended about something. But then again, Polish people don't really get offended as long as someone white says something. You know what I mean? It's a mad country. I was watching a thing on Sky News years ago, and they had this fella, Radek Sikorsky was his name. I think he's the only fella who ever blocked me on Twitter.
Nice.
He was the... What the fuck was he, eh? He was the assistant prime minister in Poland, and he was Department of fucking some cunty thing anyway. Not justice, the other one. Economy.
Right.
Department of the Economy, whatever the fuck that is.
Department of keeping people poor.
Yeah. But he was actually on the good side. See, there's kind of two parties in Poland and some other ones. There's the PIS party, which are the evil bastards, and they're called PiS. And then there's the PO party, which are called the Poo party. So you have the Poo party and the Piss party, all right? And the Poo party is better for Poland. The Piss party is bad for Poland. But it depends on who you're into. So anyway, he was on Sky News, and he dropped this fucking truth bomb about Poland. I picked up that word truth bomb, by the way, from that documentary that we watched. The American, a truth bomb. Rather than just say I'm telling the truth, I dropped the truth bomb. As if it was fucking Hiroshima you're laying fucking waste to, you know? And he says something like, after World War II and, Germany, killed all the Jews or forced the Jews to, other countries. Because, when the Jews came back to Poland, the Polish people were just like, yeah, no, you're not staying here, man. Good luck. I'm after taking over your farm. Get the fuck out of here. So the Jews were like, shit, what the fuck am I going to do? So Israel was like, yeah, come on here. We need people to push out the Palestinians. So, okay. Or else they went to America. So he said something that like, after World War II, we wanted to set up a homogenous country. And then it was Kate Burley, and she's a cunt at the best of times. And she was like, her jaw was open, like, shit, did he just say we wanted to set up a totally racist white country? Yeah, that's pretty much what he said. And he was like the deputy prime minister, and he was in the good party, like the.
But was he saying it in like this is a good idea, or that's just what was happening at the time? Like, was he saying?
No, I think most people at that time would have thought it was a good idea because at the time World War II starting, Poland had the biggest population of Jews in the world, I suppose, because Jews didn't really have. Israel wasn't really a thing then. It was, but it wasn't what it is now, and. They kind of see it at that time that I suppose they blame the Jews. Well, they don't. I don't know, because it's kind of like, would Germany have invaded if there hadn't been so many Jews? They probably would have.
They probably would have.
It was their first excuse,
Yeah.
And so, there was but around that after World War II, then they were kind of given that blame, like, well, if yous weren't here, we wouldn't have got screwed over,
Right.
So we're not letting yous back. So it's a mad thing to think that after World War II, the place is in rubble, and then they're like, you know what, fuck it, let's just have only white people, because at least then we won't get in trouble. And then again, maybe it's worked out because there's no terrorism in Poland. Like, there's so little terrorism in Poland that
you're actually, in shaky ground here. So
get this right. There's so little terrorism in Poland that Arab Muslims are moving to Poland to get away from terrorism.
All right, well, sure.
Yeah. They've been on. I saw people have been interviewed on the news. This lady in a thing, what they call it, hijab, whatever thing, or just her eyes, and she's been interviewed, and she was like, "Yeah, well, we're moving to Poland to get away from terrorism." Okay. The nationalists aren't going to like that, but I think it's fucking great.
And
is
it like
I'm on a political buzz today because the presidential election was yesterday, and.
Come here till I ask you a question, because this came up. I've been watching Ink Master, that Dave Navarro, Chris Nunez, Alva Peck crap TV show, but it's been on because it's easy to watch and you get to see some nice art.
Something to do with tattoos?
yeah, it's like competition to see who's the best, who's the ink master, right? So you get loads of people to tattoo people, and then they go, "That's a shit tattoo, you're out. You don't have what it takes to be ink master." But anyway, here's the kind of thing that come up because in my continuing need to be told what's right and wrong because I'm confused. And one of the judges is Oliver Peck, and he had to leave the show this year because a photo surfaced of him dressed up as a black person, and it was like, he's blackface, he has to go, right?
Yeah.
That's right. So here's my question. Years ago, I was going out with a girl, and we went to a fancy dress party as I can't remember what I went. Something stupid. I went as an 80s hair metal dude. You know, the push back hair or the.
So you didn't even bother dressing up, Tommie? Is that's what you're saying? Yeah.
Literally, most people said that to me on the night. But she went as Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
No, she went with Jimi Hendrix and painted her skin. I haven't spoken to her in years, so it's I don't know what she's doing. But should she now lose her job because of that? Is that
not only, Tommie, should she lose her job? I believe she should. I don't know. No, of course she shouldn't lose her job.
But if she was on Ink Master, she'd lose her job. No, Oliver Peck wasn't dressed up as Jimi Hendrix. It's more than that. No, it's whatever. I only half looked into it. But I'm just kind of thinking, like, certain people would lose their job over that. But it's like, are you not allowed to dress as Jimi Hendrix? I mean, should we not do that for a while until we sort all this out? Should you dress as Jimi Hendrix, but just be, as a white Jimi Hendrix? Is that not a bit more racist because you're making a black person? I don't know. I don't know half of these things, which is why I ask you, because if you don't know, you're confident enough in your not knowing to say have an opinion anyway.
Yeah, that's the nicest way anyone's ever told me, an opinionated cunt. Thanks. Nah, I don't know. Yeah, don't bother. But I remember growing up in school, like in the 80s, and every time they had like a fancy dress dance or ball or whatever the fuck they're called, half the class went as B.A. Baracus.
Yeah.
B.A. was shit cool though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it wasn't always. I
think it's a bit different from the whole Al Jolson jazz singer, that kind of,
Yeah, it's not the gollywog stuff.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. That's horrible. And sure, I showed you a while ago. There's still there's a margarine for sale in Poland. You can Google this, listeners, if you have really nothing to do and you're that bored. Palma, Palma margarine. It's a Polish.
You should Google it because it's shocking.
It is shocking. Well, everyone's just like, whatever. And there's this song, like a nursery song. Like that kind of thing. There's a song.
Kill all the Jews and the blacks. Is that a song?
There's a song in kind of Polish nursery rhymes, and it's mrozinek, yeah, and it means like, and it's about like someone has curly hair and nice eyes and a big smile or something like that. So it's kind of nice. But it means like little N-word. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. It's very bad. But it's weird because this is the thing with the Polish language is that you can have a word and then you can have one of its declinations and it makes it sound nice. So, for example, like my name in Polish would be Patrick. Okay, Patrick, yeah. But Patryczku, Patryk. There's different versions which make it sound cuter. So. This
you probably call kids the cutest version of it, kind of, is it?
Yeah. So, even like, say, Aga would be Agusha instead of Aga. You know what I mean? So it's Agnieszka, then Aga, then Agusha. Or Mikołaj is Mikush, or, Mikush. I call him, I don't know what Malvina is. It doesn't matter. She's a weird name, and it's an odd one. But, like, so... Like, when you say it to anyone, they're like, yeah, that's not racist. It's like the cute version. Yes, the cute version of the N-word. Yeah, but we don't have an N-word. Of course you have it. Hold on now. It's very strange,
Yeah, I don't know. And I think the only thing you can do is just kind of try to do your best, you know what I mean? Like, at some point, you're just going to, you're probably all going to make a mess. But it's that whole cancel culture and stuff like that. And I think that I don't fully, like, when you've been publicly shamed by John Ronson, haven't you? You've read that one?
No. It's on my Audible list. Yeah. I'll get to it eventually.
That just shows like the kind of impact, the personal impact on kind of the cancel culture, and saying a terrible joke and your life being ruined by it, because you said it on Twitter, where we've all said horrible things to our friends in the pub that were funny, that just disappeared into the night. You know what I mean? And and I didn't get cancelled or whatever. But I find it hard to understand kind of the rules. But I think that's more because we haven't decided what the rules are exactly yet, or around all of these things.
Well, I think it's kind of like your man that Hogg's book. What's the name of it? The one after the KLF. Jesus.
Higgs' book, the 20th century,
Higgs, what do they call him? Yeah. He has stuff. His kind of suggestion for like, look, do you know what? Let's just let the young people sort it out because it's their world,
Yeah, but is that not what the generation above us did? And they kind of said, well, I'm going to stick to my homophobia and racism. It's easy for you young people to be open-minded.
No. But I think what he means is to just follow their direction.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So whatever they come up with, that's probably the right answer, at least for us right now.
Yeah.
Right,
and I'm fine with that because I think young people are far better and smarter and nicer than us. And definitely than our parents and stuff.
Yeah. And there's a kind of a window between a childhood and being, I'd say, or without putting a kind of a delineation on it, like say about 30, where you see the world probably for what it really is for a while before you kind of, it's what's that thing? If you don't change your opinion at all, you will go from radical to conservative over the course of your life. It's just because, your views become outdated.
Yeah, of course.
But the only thing I suppose it's even seems to be a thing that it's hard to talk about these topics. We've kind of touched on this before with the sexual stuff and the predatory stuff and all that. But it's like that. You're meant to know. So if you get it wrong, you're immediately and you just go, well, I don't know. Like it's.
I don't know. I mean,
maybe that's just me. Do you find that at all? Maybe I'm completely.
I don't find it because I wouldn't be talking to people who are shouty right wingers or shouty left wingers.
Yeah.
I don't see any advantage in being them because for me, like, it's kind of like, remember a couple of years ago, there was this thing on the college campuses in America about feminism and consent and all this kind of stuff, and then it kind of caught on in like Ireland and England and all that kind of thing. And it was
essentially that whole Jordan Peterson new dark web wave,
even
that kind of thing.
Before that, and like, you saw all these kind of like, hipstery guys becoming like flag bearing fucking feminists and all this, and it's just like, lads, it's not your fight. Like, shut up. Just say like, you support equal rights. That's it. You don't have to. It's not your fight. You know what I mean? It's not like you can't. There's no point in you going to war for France when you're Irish, or there's no point in you join the British Army if you're Irish, because then you're a traitor, and that's exactly what you are. But it's not even being a traitor. No, I'm going too far there. That's a bad metaphor, bad use of it. But I mean that, like, just support the women, but like, you don't, like, it's not your fight. It's not your fight.
Like, you mean the white knighting kind of things that you're doing because to look good and the virtue signaling and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is an awful lot of that.
That's exactly all I see is just like, you're not into this. You're just like, you're just doing this to look good or to have a better standing in the fucking crowd that you want to get into, or you're just trying to get into someone's knickers and you're like, shut up, like, just, I don't know. It's kind of like, I'm big into minimalism and stoicism and just kind of knowing what battles to pick and just saying, you know what, like, if I actually sit down and think about that, does it affect my life and does it bother? Like with this presidential election on to a minute. All right, I'm looking because I want to find out who won. But at the same time, it's like, right, either the rich conservative guy won or the rich liberal guy won. And it really makes no fucking difference to me at all.
No,
whatever.
But the apathy is how the society continues to be the way it is. But I understand. I'm completely in the same position where I'm going, well, if I do something, it won't make any difference. But by not doing something, I'm not making a difference. It's like, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that whole thing of kind of, is it my battle or not? I think if you have the opportunity to do something, you should do it. You know what I mean? Of course. But that's kind of always seems to be left out of the sentence of, is it my battle? Just, it's kind of like going, you sort that out yourselves. It just means when it appears in my life, I'm going to do the right thing here. But I'm not going to, you can't fight, like, it's the same thing. You can't fight I can't fight for the protesters in Hong Kong. I can't do anything. I literally can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? Other than I can go onto Facebook and make myself out to be a great person by posting great stuff if I wanted to. What if, it came to a situation where someone from Hong Kong rang me and goes, can I stay in your house because I'm about to be beaten up? And you say no, then you've had an opportunity to, to make the world better. Or whatever, terrible example, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, I wish the world was in a much better position, and I wish everyone just got on, and I wish we didn't have any of these problems.
But Tommie, is the world in that bad of a situation? I think everyone's kind of all right.
I know.
There's no world war on. We're not starving.
That's only because America's busy.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Well, you see, Biden's going to get in now, and he's just going to be going around sniffing children all the time, going, draining their power from them as he sniffs their hair. You know what I mean? Which is better than what Trump apparently does. Trump kills them and eats their fucking thyroid glands or whatever the fuck it is.
Adrenochrome.
Yeah,
it will be interesting when Biden gets in, or if it happens, whatever the whole thing, and immediately, the war in the Middle East starts that morning. That's hardly going to be shocking to anyone. I don't know. How do we get onto these topics at the beginning? We're meant to be talking about ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, listen. Tell me, because people have been asking, any updates on your Holy Guardian Angel workings and where you're at and all that?
Because someone left a comment about, what was her name? Blavatsky? I can't even say her name.
Blavatsky, I think, or some approximation.
Yeah, so I did a meditation and I just asked herself, what from
Helena, HPV.
what from HPV's teachings and all should I be paying attention to? And the answer I got was yoga and meditation. So there you go.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because, it's like the yoga and meditation that she would have brought to the West is exactly the stuff that Crowley wrote about with his AA teachings. So I only know this because I finished your man's book there the other day, and it's this kind of Raja Yoga, and then within Raja Yoga, really what Crowley was doing was breathing techniques, and also I think there's a couple of stances. I think there's only 4 stances, I think, which you get tested on. You have to sit in for an hour.
For days even. Asanas, isn't that what they're called?
Asana and Priyana or something like that, isn't it? One is breathing, one is stillness of the body, and the
pranayama is the breathing.
Pranayama, yeah. So, but this is the same stuff that she was on about, and then it kind of led me down the road. Then I did some of that. Oh, what's it called? Yeah, because he writes about as well. Schumacher in his Living Telemo. What's wrong with me today? Schumacher writes about the Kundalini yoga.
Yeah,
I did some of that today, and that was fucking weird. That was like, well, I'm a bit too connected to everything. So
back off, universe.
Freaked me out a bit, but no, I'll do it again. So I will. Crowley's yoga stuff is from reading his book anyway. I haven't read any of the Crowley stuff because I'll read that one. There's the 7 lectures as well. I will read that one. But it's mostly just about stillness and breathing and kind of let ideas come to your head rather than looking for them, But,
there's a lot of, there's the yamas, the nama yamas, whatever it's called, the goods and the bad. It's the 8 limbs of yoga is the Raja Yoga stuff. There's plenty of stuff on that. And in fact, Jason Louvre is a course in that. The book, if I have it there, is what I think you would really enjoy, is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. There's a million different versions of it, but it's the guy who came up with the whole system of Raja Yoga, and it's just kind of sentence, about 300 sentences, and then someone, interprets or whatever. But it's basically where it all comes from, the whole thing. Hold on till I just look. The guy who Edwin F. Bryant is the one I have. It's the best one I've come across, and it's really good. But there's plenty on it. There's Crowley has the essays on yoga. Also, book 4 has a whole section. Yeah. Has book 4 part 1. So book 4 is 3 parts because we were talking this, and it's so part 1, part 2 is what you buy as the cheap book 4, the paperback one, and then part 3 is magic and theory and practice.
Right.
So it's it's good to get into the. Are you doing like any of the the American style yoga, the fitness yoga, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's that woman who everyone knows on YouTube, Yoga with Adrienne, and I do hers because she has one about horse riding, and that's really kind of what got me into doing it anyway, without this other meditation stuff, because like I'm not bendy enough to be any good on the horses. Like I need to get a bit more flexible, like I want to be able to reach down to my toes, kind of. Like I'm nearly there. I can nearly reach my toes, but like I've got a big belly, so I'm not doing it for a fitness thing, but just to be more bendy. You know yourself. You're getting a bit older. It's a bit like you go down to tie your laces. You're like, whoa, fuck, that didn't happen 10 years ago. So I want to be a bit more bendy anyway. And then like, well, fuck it. I mean, if this Telema book says that this is great and all that, and then I mean, I wasn't very clear about it from the book what Raja Yoga is, but then watching some other videos last night, I found a good one. So like 3 minutes. Animated one. I'll actually put it up in your Discord meditation channel, and it's just about like how the 4 different practitioners of Raja didn't get on with each other, and one was the academic, the other was the emotional, the other was the karma, and the other was the what was it? Feeling, thinking, doing, and the other one. I don't remember the other one. Fucking anyway. But the 4 of them, they all hate each other, and they're walking through the forest. And then God appears to them, and they're like, "Oh shit, what are you doing here now? Like all of the study that we've all done, and now you appear." And he's like, "Yeah, well, finally, you fucking arseholes get together, Raja, no, it's not explained from the Telema and Crowley perspective. Yeah. But Raja is these 4 different elements of yoga, which I found really interesting, to be honest. It means that like you don't have to feel bad that if like you're doing yoga and it's not working for you, like you can just go out and do some work and be thinking about stuff and meditate that way. So, a lot of people find that hard.
Go on, a lot of people.
I just said a lot of people find that hard to sit and be still and whatever.
And the kind of to know that there's different like the Raja yoga is like it means royal. The Hatha yoga is the stuff that the actual physical kind of a thing, and it's relatively new, like the last kind of 150 years or something like that. There's like the chanting, which is another type of yoga. All of these kind of different things. Karma yoga, there's a million different made-up ones as well that came out in the West and all. But because I think when people think of yoga, they think of, Downward Dog and, Warrior 2 and this kind of stuff. But like that not proper yoga. Original yoga, I suppose, is more sit down, shut up, under a tree.
Yeah. Which I think I will get to like more, to be honest. It's nice. Bit of stillness, it's just, like I'm very lucky I get to work at home, and if I have an extra half an hour or whatever, you can do it. But like most people don't have that. They're commuting here and there and trying to work. Although the pandemic, I suppose you're not. But it's grand.
What's that old saying? Someone says is that you should meditate for 20 minutes every day unless you're a busy person, and then you should do 40 minutes.
Yeah. Someone actually said it to me the other day as well. Actually, they're saying exactly that. He was asking me, "Do you do anything?" I was like, "Yeah, I do this, that, and the other." And he said, "I don't have time." And then he stopped himself and he's like, "Yeah, well, when they say that you don't have time, it means you have to meditate twice as much, doesn't it?" And I was like, "I don't know, I haven't heard it." So it's funny that you say that as well. Interesting. All these things seem to link up together. I wonder, is someone trying to tell me something?
Yeah.
Yeah, what else have I been doing? Yeah, I she's not really talking to me in the dreams anymore.
Typical woman.
But no, she's gave me a sign out twice that she wants to communicate through the cards, through tarot cards and through divination cards. So I'm like, okay, cool. And so I've done that a couple of times and got
okay, cool. But how about just turning up my front door and talking to me? But just coming. Maybe send me a letter like they send at Masters. See, that's what you haven't got one of those secret passages in the secret passages, a secret kind of cupboard in the wall that these letters can just magically appear, and you need a bell.
God knows, man, what's in this house. Your man that owned this house before us told us he was a doctor, but he wasn't a proper doctor, and it found out then when we actually got the keys off him, he was a doctor of the soul.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like maybe he's after leaving some fucking woo in the house or something, and I'm after catching it, or else it's bollocks, and you just have those voodoo dolls in your doing shit with me and angel ones and what can I do with Spud this week? Said he doesn't like Crowley. Watch this, bitch. Fucking
so
hell.
are you enjoying eating your own cum? Is it a thing that have you embraced that
I was thinking about that the other day. Do you know the way that, what's that thing, and you've told me the name for it before, when it's this philosophy where you think that you're the center of the universe and everyone else is an actor. There's a name on it,
solipsism.
Solipsism. So, like, I'm starting to think that that's what the whole cum guzzling is all about, like, It's all just an act, man. Everyone, all the stars are lighting up. I even have an angel talking to me now. I'm on this destiny road.
Eat your cum,
right. And then just when Spud explodes into his hands and fucking just goes, I'm gonna do it. And then, surprise!
Yeah,
the curtain falls and everyone is sitting there and I'm just like, fucking bastards.
Yeah. No, that's not what's happening. Don't pay attention to that. No, that's definitely not. We're not planning a secret party. No. Don't go to the other side of the house. No. I suspect that there is kind of some sort of quality of that when you die or when you get the secret of the world, secret of life, whatever, that it will be a kind of a laugh, like a chuckly type that you'll see, because so many kind of people with insight, mystics and all that, the cosmic joke, all of that, that there is a kind of a humor to it or whatever that we just can't see because we're too close to, to the pain and suffering of it all. I just kind of, because every now and again, I definitely do get the impression or the sense of it being a game, and like not in a, it's hard to describe, but I don't mean a kind of a throwaway kind of, it's just a game, you don't pay that, but that there's a kind of a, in the sense game as a play, that there's a play element to it, like the way the kids play games rather than, a computer game in a sense.
Right,
that kind of, which would be very, I suppose, the whole idea of Krishna and stuff like that here, but there's an orb behind you, totally just went across your screen, right behind your head, huge big orb. Enjoy that.
What?
Yeah.
That's herself. Oh yeah, Minerva. All right.
Yeah. So the Krishna thing is that it would be all like we're here for his entertainment or as his, not his playthings, but for to kind of revel in the joy of the universe kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And him being
but I suppose there's also that thing about like kids play and there's a joy in it, but they're learning, but they don't really see that they're learning, and probably be the same thing then with us, that we just didn't see we were learning, but like. So try and have fun, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, I don't know. No, that didn't come right at all.
Yeah, that or we are in hell and the Gnostics are right, and this is a place to escape from.
Not in hell. Not in hell. Everything's no. I have to be optimistic about it because everything's all right, and it's all about just how you deal with stuff anyway. Like, you can get miserable and whatever, but sure, what's the fucking point? You're going to be dead tomorrow, so you may as well enjoy your last 2 hours.
What?
What? Shit.
Right.
Tommie's party. Tommie's going to guzzle cum tonight, and then
I'm in the mood for a surprise party. Let's guzzle some cum. Right, coming up to the halfway.
Come here. On the cum guzzling, right? In the living Telema book, Living Telema, that's the American, Living Telema book. He doesn't make a big thing out of the. There's a chapter about sex magic, alright, but it doesn't make a massive thing about having to, do this stuff. It's just that, right. His thing is that the best thing, like with sex, is to do it with someone that you're into and love, and if you're both magicians or whatever, wizards, whatever fucking weird word they want to use, I still struggle.
with speaking, obviously.
Like, I mean, with speaking, yeah. But like, do you really want to call yourself a magician? Like, you're not Paul Daniels. You're not a Crowleyite either, because Crowley was a piece of shit. But like, AA member, but then you're an alcoholic. What the fuck? Yeah, no wonder they struggle. Okay, you're a magician. So like, you and your wizardess are doing it, but like, if you're both into it, like, do some tantric-y stuff and just make it last as long as possible, and then dedicate the love and feeling to each other. And if you want to go down on each other while you're at it, you may as well. That's pretty much what's in the book. Is like, you may as well just chow down. There's nothing about this. No, it's not. No, but it's not like this, like the sacrifice that you hold it up in a chalice and go. It's not like that. Like, it's just as part of the love-making act. You can do that thing to each other that people like. There's a reason a 6 and a 9 fucking fit together is what I'm saying, all right?
Yeah.
Oh, God, Catholic repression. It's just impossible to talk about sex, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a well, in some ways you can talk about it in a kind of a jokey type sense, but like any kind, it's like when you're saying a vagina and a penis, and you go, I can't say that. Yeah. So weird. Irish people are so weird. We're not right. Any wonder we drink so much.
Not right. Yeah.
Right.
You done half an hour?
Half an hour. Yeah, half an hour of the bullshit.
Have we buttered them up enough?
Yeah. This is like the gatekeeping. Go, if you can get past the first half an hour, then I suppose you should get a medal, maybe. Well done. Right. So what we watched this week was Haunting on Brockway Street, which is the latest documentary from a rapper called Prozac. It's Steven Shippy, isn't that his real name? And he's been basically, since he left being a rapper, why do I go rapper? Why can't I just say rapper? Because then I think there's a W in front, which you have to kind of elongate it for it to be the R-A-P-P-E-R rather than the...
He's not a piece of plastic around a whisper bar.
Yeah, like a rapper. Like, I don't know. Why couldn't you just come up with a different word for that? A rapper, yeah. He is a spoken word artist. They don't like that, spoken word artist. But anyway, so he's been making ghosty type haunting films in his own kind of home county. Is it town? I can't pronounce that. Saginaw. Is that a county? I assume it's a city, a town, a land area for the last 10 years. And he has been doing quite well for himself. And he has two very popular ones, which are The Haunting on Dice Road, which are the really highly rated on Amazon, highly watched. But the one we watched is his latest one. Previously, he's actually a TV show coming out as well. But this one is the latest documentary, which is The Haunting on Brockway Street, which came out in 2019. And it's essentially just a haunted house kind of a thing. A family who the mother wanted to, rather than buying a house that was ready to move into, because that's practical and the thing to do, they decided to move into a fairly rundown house and do it up because people are gluttons for punishment, obviously, and haven't seen horror films. I don't know what stories. So anyway, the husband...
I bet she had like a total Karen moment. I reckon she was a Karen, but now she's just too fucking scared to be a bitch. And she's like, I'm done with this fucking ghost, man. These fucking
because you can see the husband going, well, obviously I got outvoted. Whatever he said.
I didn't want to buy that fucking house. Like, put all the money into it.
Yeah, I
imagine being married to her.
So the husband wasn't into it.
Speak to the manager. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to the ghosts manager, please. Who's in charge of these ghosts? So they move in, and anyway, weird things start to happen. And then over the course of the documentary, she mysteriously remembers more stuff that happened that, you really probably should have mentioned at the beginning, but probably didn't, because then it wouldn't have been as an interest or entertaining a documentary. The first 20 minutes of this documentary is brilliant.
Spooky
really
as
good.
Fuck.
It's
so
really
scary.
good.
The first few minutes, yeah.
The quality of it is closer to a movie than a documentary. Two great things about it. There's none of that shitty green, low quality nightlight stuff in it at all. Which, I mean, I know that's a kind of a style and stuff like that, but it's just like there's no need for it now because you can colour correct. You know what I mean? You can literally colour correct it, and there's no need for it. And they didn't black out the house entirely. He definitely understands aesthetics, how to direct, because I assume he's directing it as well. And it's top one. You can't fault it for its quality, other than maybe it's a bit too good because it veers a bit too close into movie level quality that it feels, rather than an actual documentary. But more about that as we go along. But so anyway, they go in and they kind of talk in the documentary as if they're doing it over 5 or 6 nights, because it's night 1, night 2, night 3, but it's actually filmed over 6 weeks. So there's plenty of times. And they go in and have a kind of an interview with the mother, and she's just saying about the different things that's going on. And then they interview the son, and he's saying, doors have been rattling, there's very bad feelings, so much so that he moved out because of all this when he was 17. And then they're on the way home and just happened to be filming. I don't know why. They just happened to be filming in the car, and she rings, and she goes, I don't know if this is relevant, but when we moved into this house, we found a bag of human bones in the front garden. I didn't know if I should say that to you or not. I didn't know if it would be, if it would be relevant. But anyway, we found a bag of human bones. All right, he just goes, right, just changes everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, like Sitting Bull and the whole Cherokee Nation are buried just in the backyard.
Just there, yeah.
But like, that's not important. So
yeah, the virgin sacrifices for hundreds of years were over in this corner. Is that relevant? Should I have mentioned that? Maybe I should have mentioned that rather than talk about the home decoration. So then we have the greatest moment of all time when they go back, and for some reason she has discovered very easily how to attach her phone to the big screen, which makes it handy for people watching. But she says, "I've only ever."
That's just Bluetooth, though. Like I saw people on Reddit going fucking crazy about this, and like it's literally you hit one button on your phone. You just hit Bluetooth. And, sorry, you hit two because it says it asks for permission, and you say okay, so it's twice. You hit your smartphone twice. I'm sorry, but like if you don't know how to stream your phone to your fucking smart TV, then you're an idiot.
Yeah,
you
but here's the thing.
The internet.
Could your mother do that? This is the way people are taking it. Like,
what if I showed her?
I know, yeah, but I mean, it's incidental to.
Obviously, Karen and Daddy Honcho like to watch something.
Oh,
when they're doing things.
Yeah.
So this is how they figure it out. Yeah. So anyway, see, one comb goes lurk and spot another one.
So anyway,
no, I didn't do it.
So she says, I only once ever was able to record the weird shit happening. And then to show this video, it's about a 2-minute video, which is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. That, especially you just go, oh look, the door opens, door closes up, and then you see the light switches on in the room, and then you can see people walking past, and you go, oh no. And then one of the most creepiest and equally ludicrous things I've ever seen in my life is that this door opens and they go in, it slowly opens, and then Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz is standing at the door, and you go, what is going on? And then it proceeds to go, oh, it's just a cardboard cutout, because of course it's just a cardboard cutout.
Why does anyone have a cardboard cutout of Judy fucking Garland? What the fuck, like?
But here's the thing, the first red flag is that you kind of go, right, why aren't I mentioning that that's super weird? Like that's obviously there's it's scary, it's deliberately kind of put in, and you kind of go, this should have come. Oh well, it's very odd that that's a bit creepy that the thing, but just kind of carry on as it go. Yeah, that entire experience, it's very po-faced, very, kind of, and it's like.
Well, unless it's something like they'd been into the bedroom 3 or 4 times already, and they had seen this post. Then again, but I don't think that they were in that room again after that, were they?
Oh no, that's the kids' room. That's the girls' room.
So then, the cardboard cutout just completely disappeared after that.
Yeah, because that's where the shoe fell. Remember that's the same area of the room. So that up to that point, up to Judy Garland, I was hooked. I was even texting going, "This is brilliant," and then I was like, going, I could feel the it's coming in. So anyway, the thing under the floorboards, that was an interest. Do you want to take over rather than me talking the whole time here?
Wait, what was the thing under the floorboards? I don't remember that.
So they found there was a closet or a press. No one outside of Ireland.
Yeah. No, come here, first though.
Right,
they got in this image specialist from Iroquois.
This is science. This is real science. Real research.
What's so bizarre about this is that the guy comes in and he's literally shitting himself being in the house, right? but like he's supposed to be a paranormal researcher. He's scared of ghosts. Paranormal researcher scared of fucking ghosts. Like, hey, Spud, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a vet. Spud, you're afraid of dogs, horses, cows, animal spiders, mouses, mice. You're afraid of all animals, Spud. You can't be a vet. But sir, I really want to be a vet, but you can't be a vet. You can't be if you're afraid of animals. No, I want to be a vet. And Spud grows up and goes to college and becomes a vet and gets his first fucking practice opening. Next thing, woman comes in with a horse and says, my horse is sick. And Spud goes, a horse! and runs away.
That's literally
For
what
fuck's
happened in the
sake, you're a
documentary.
paranormal researcher. Why are you afraid of ghosts, you fuckwit? So that was my red flag, all right? This guy. And so he does this. They have this thing called, he worked, his company's Iroquois technology. And they talk about this Iroquois technology as if it's the second coming of fucking sliced bread or something. It's this amazing technology that will find... I'm all out of breath now. That will find... We will find images where you can't see them, blah, blah, blah. So basically what he has is a really, really high-quality computer that can zoom in and zoom out and find shit.
Yeah, so it's the CSI approach to ghost hunting,
it's
essentially.
It's just a fucking joke. It's an absolute joke, so it is. And, it comes back later on in the film, and he finds, like, 2 or 3 shapes, and it's like... I literally cannot see anything. And
apart from the last shape that he pulled out, that he just seems to pull out of his arse because you don't know where it's from. Where it's like all of these terrible little. That if I literally took a photo now in the room around me, I could find scarier shapes in the shadow. Apart from then this kind of face that appears at the end, you go, where the fuck did that come from? There's another orb, by the way, going behind you.
What is going on, man? You should pull a tarot card quickly.
Well, like it is that like that is like nearly one of the last kind of things, and it's like that is utterly ridiculous. That whole that whole bit. So anyway, now that you've got over your fear of animals, the basement thing, because that's genuinely even if it's not ghosty, so that's very, like creepy, sad.
It's another bit that like she's like, oh my god, I just remembered something. So, okay, all right, okay. Down under here in the floorboards, there's a place into like I suppose like a crawl space. I think that's what they're called in America. And it's not the basement, but it's between the ground and the floor of the house, you know. And so they find one fella goes down there, Adam, your man who looks like Grant Morrison. He goes down there.
Yes.
And he finds the place is full of old tin cans, but like 100 years old kind of stuff or more, and old glass bottles and stuff like that. And he, just and he sees all these horrible scratches on the wall, and just by kind of process of elimination, he's like, well, look, it's not animals because there's no pattern, like it's not raccoons or cats or anything like that, because it would be 3 or 4 claws together doing it. But he kind of discovers, he picks up a piece of glass and goes, oh fuck, these are man-made. Like some kid's been doing it. And then he realizes, well, if it was someone older, it would have been done higher up the wall, but it's done really low on the ground. So it's like, it's obviously a kid has... Oh, and then he realizes, you see it, the gears going in his head. He's like, oh shit, man. A kid has been kept down here and fed down here, and he was given food and water. So like, well, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he just gets out of there. So that was
super creepy. But I mean, that kind of stuff, like, you go, at that point, shouldn't you be ringing the cops? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's a thing, like, but like, how do you know it's not them putting their kids down there? You know what I mean? Like, it's not even considered. You know, like.
Nah, I'd say that was like a family who put a kid down there they were ashamed of or didn't want, because like
Bort, isn't that from The Simpsons? Bort, isn't that?
Yeah, Bort from The Simpsons, exactly stuff like that. But sure, like you know yourself, this growing up in the 80s and even earlier in Ireland, like disabled kids and handicapped kids is what we call them. They were kept out of. I went to school with lads, and I didn't even know they had disabled siblings until years later. Years later, because they're just kept out of sight, out of mind. You're not allowed in public, and like a lot of fucking shit went on. People were just locked in upstairs bedroom attics and just left to themselves, kind of horrible stuff,
Well, what was that big famous book in the 80s? Flowers in the Attic, wasn't it? Not about it, like kids that were kept in the attic for.
Yeah, and then they have sex with each other. Remember that? Did you remember that? What the fuck was that all about? That book didn't need that. You know?
It's trying to be, I suppose, realistic. I don't know.
Realistic? Fucking Game of Thrones shit. Fucking brothers and sisters at the...
So what's that out in Blue Lagoon where the same thing happens? And their brother and sister end up on an island and then they end up banging as well. What was it? Well, I was going to say, as if now is any better. Well, what the climate of paedophilia that we have now. It was like the 80s were so full of incest. It was a terrible time. So your man Grant Morrison kind of disappears out of the scene then for a while, doesn't he? He just kind of goes back to being a thing. There was one bit in that where there was like a sign and it said something like on the floor beside the cans. It said like Jack's something or other, and it's going, well, you just look at that. There's just a sign that would help you date it, and you just completely ignoring it. And it ends up, but he has it on the table upstairs, so it obviously dated it to the wrong, to the wrong scenario. So, but that's creepy. I like a ghost story or not. That's creep. That because that stuff happens. That definitely happened.
I'd say that's just what they found. But look, we haven't really revealed what the main bit of the haunting is. So when they moved in, they thought there was. Sorry, when they moved in, their youngest kid, her name is Sabina, and up in her bedroom, she would see this a boy who was around the same age as her, so I think 6 or something, 6 or 8, something like that. And he would be looking out onto the street from her first floor window. And, they say it's this classic ghostly apparition thing. She sees this shape of a boy. He's got no legs. He's just kind of hovering there. And so apparently the young lad had a thing for Sabina, and he would show up around her or kind of communicate around her. So they'd hear stuff, doors open and closing when they're around her. So Karen comes up with this great idea. Hey, I know, we have a ghost in the house. Let's get out the fucking Ouija board. And it's like, oh, jeez, no, you don't do that. Even I know that. You know what I mean? Fucking hell, don't get a fucking priest or some shit who knows what they're doing. You don't just get on a Ouija board and say, hello, ghost. How's it going? You want to hang out? Don't do that. Just don't do that. All right, don't do that.
It's like she comes in and goes, I found this key and it says key to hell, and there's a door over there that says hell. I think we should open it. We're going to open it.
Look, we'll always regret if we don't do it.
Imagine being 70 and going, oh well, I had the key to hell and I didn't open it. Come on.
Fuck, why didn't I open it? How are you, Lucifer? You well? How's it going?
Oh, you're coming in. Oh,
warm, innit? Fucking hell. For fuck's sake. So so they get out the Ouija board and they ask, right, who's here? And they get VIC is spelled out. And they find out later then that Victor is the name of a boy who was around 7 or 8 when he died in the house. But the thing is then shit gets a lot weirder after this moment, because they think that another spirit might have woken up another spirit or something. And then things get a bit evil shenanigans, as they say in Super Troopers.
Yeah, and there's lots of kind of footage of things moving and bangs, and a piano gets done at a very perfectly timed moment, one has to say. All really great, proper entertaining. The guy is in it, Steve Gonzalez, and he's in one kind of, obviously he was there for one night, and he's one of the main players in Ghost Hunters, the kind of most famous one. But it's a red flag for people because, well, if he's in it, then it's it's definitely it's a setup, it's a fake or whatever, the whole thing. I don't know. He doesn't do anything in it that is, he's not throwing things behind people's backs, or he's not taking up. But it's just
walking in with a bed sheet on.
And he's grand. He's good at his job. He's like that Linda Moulton Howe from the Skinwalker thing. Is that he's been on TV, so he knows how to be on TV. That can kind of come across a bit fake if you want. But he knows how editing works. He knows how to speak properly that I don't, obviously. Can articulate all of that kind of stuff. But what I do like and what I really appreciate is to spend an awful lot of time just talking out loud to the entities, and I think that's that's a good kind of approach to it, and just talking to them like they're there in the room. And it's kind of the way what I say to people about the 40 servants, because it engages a part of your brain, that you're just talking to it like there's someone in your room, as you would a normal person, kind of a thing. So there's a lot of that kind of thing, and it's possibly rehearsed, which gives it the kind of rehearsal kind of feel. But any of that is going to feel a bit forced, because it is forced, because you're in a room talking to a discarnate spirit, or a potentially discarnate spirit. So it's going to sound weird, but there's a lot of time spent on that, and people found that quite boring. I quite liked it. I thought that was.
It was good way that they matched up the thing when they were in this crawl space, or the cistern, I think they called it. Which obviously isn't a cistern, because a cistern is like a septic tank kind of thing.
Yeah, well, in Ireland it is.
Yeah, well,
yes.
yeah. So they do this great edit where they, obviously it didn't happen in the same fucking night or whatever, but like they did this edit where they brought in the other camera girl's dog. Who is so apparently some expert with ghosts. I have no idea what kind of college that is for dogs, but I really want to send my dog to that college.
It's like when you go to talk to the dog. Goes, you can either go and you can be a blind dog, a guide dog. You can be one of those, or you can go to ghost college. Which is it, Photo? Which you want? Ghost college.
So anyway, so he's at the top of one of the sets of basement stairs. And he's walking around, he's grand, he's doing doggy things, and he's fine. But then he's at the top of these stairs, and he freezes and just goes, "Nope, some fucking shit's going downstairs."
Yeah.
And then your man Prozac starts talking to the ghost and says, "Look, who are you? Are you Victor? We're here to help you. Can you communicate? And next thing, the two doors swing back and forth. Frightened the Jesus out of me. Like. Yeah.
The other one, and it was like it's a big jump scare in it, but it was the bit that it pushed me over the cliff of come on, this is definitely staged. Is your man in the corridor talking to? I hope you'd come and talk to me. I'd really appreciate it. I'd like to be able to go back and tell my friends that that there's I got talking to the kid, and that'd be great for me. And then there's kind of bangs, and he's looking around. It's very dark, whatever, and it's kind of suspense is building, and if that's, I hope it's you. Are you gonna come? And then there's like he comes out and go like, what the fuck? And it's one of the other people go, have you got a phone charger? Have you got a phone charger? And he goes, what are you at? And just go, bullshit. Great entertainment. Bullshit.
Oh yeah, I laughed at it. I did laugh at it. It was good because he said something as well. I'm from Saginaw as well. I'm only back here for one night, so like, if we could have this connection with each other, don't mind us. Basically, he was like, don't mind those other fucking Egypts. I'm from here. If you want to say something, say it to me. And then, man, here, you phone charger.
And you can just see the terrible acting of him shaking his head after.
Yeah. That was a shame that they went down that route.
And the fruit basket thing as well. Good luck.
It wasn't needed. What happened to the fruit basket?
You won the dog owners who's there, and was it a fruit basket or some sort of
the Easter
hamper
thing, the Easter basket.
Yeah, she's just going like, oh, don't tell anyone else. Well, they're going to fucking see that there's a fucking Easter basket sitting on the floor. Is this your Easter basket? Here's Easter basket.
I mean, what I found weirdest of all was that they kept concentrating on the Victor ghost. They kept going after him, and like they weren't putting two and two together and just going, what, the problem's not Victor. He's just a kid ghost. He's grand. No one's really scared of him. He just pops up every now and again. Everyone's all right. It's this other fucker who's banging doors and everyone's getting a feeling of evilness off it. And they didn't give two fucks about finding out who this guy was at all.
No.
And we still don't know. At the end, apparently, Karen knows who it is. But
only because they completely changed the story with 10 minutes to go about what that thing was about. Completely. Yeah. And you could kind of see Prozac going, Karen, come on now. Because I think one of the things he says most commonly over the course of the thing when he's talking to Karen goes, well, this changes everything. Yeah. So she rings him again in the middle of it, goes, I was just thinking, I maybe should have mentioned this. I'm not sure, but one night my daughter, in a trance, tried to walk out into traffic. Should I have mentioned that? Maybe I should have mentioned that. Should I have mentioned that?
But come on, I mean, that reeked of just sleepwalking for me.
Oh, well, you see, the problem was there's an edit with the son where he says in the course of 20 seconds where it goes, she did not set off the fire alarm or the house alarm, and then says she set off the house alarm or something very similar. That you just kind of go,
because the alarm was going off.
Yeah, pick your story. Pick your story here. How did she get outside without the fire or without the house alarm going off? The house alarm was going fucking off.
The house alarm was going off. That's how you all got out of bed and were talking to each other, because they're like, what the fuck? The alarm was going off. Like, so she obviously just sleepwalked. What
is
the past of sleepwalk? Sleepwalking. Slepipotami. Slepipotami.
Sleptwalk.
Sleepwalked. It's a double past. The suspense is killing me. Dun, 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 dun,
Sleptwalked. I don't like that. Sleptwalk or sleptwalk.
Right. I don't like that. Fuck you, Tommie.
No. Rare, sorry, non-standard, simple past tense and past participle of sleepwalk.
Okay.
Yeah, not happy.
Fucking rare.
Change not approved.
Yeah,
not happy with that at all.
Need to fix the old dictionary. Hey, do you ever hear the story about your man who helped write the first dictionary? This has popped up twice now in the week for me, and also I read the book years ago. Apparently, he was in jail, and because he had so much free time on his hand, he decided, well, I mean, yeah, no problem. I can just sit down here with loads of books, and I can trace back the roots of words and find the original meaning, and then we'll update the dictionary and all that. He was a successful doctor, but he was in an insane.
Was he a doctor of the soul?
No. He was an actual doctor with a degree
of the soul.
And he had these hallucinations that the Irish were getting in, like fairies. The Fae.
Right, the Irish were getting in.
Insist on calling them fairies, and the Irish were getting in under. were getting into his house and were making him have sex with prostitutes.
Yeah, the Irish definitely weren't doing that, because the Irish go, well, we can't talk about the prostitutes, we can't mention that.
So yeah, in Liverpool or something like that, he was living in this place, and he was like, he would get these hallucinations that the Irish fairies would come in and make him do debauched, horrible things to prostitutes, and then he just ended up like just going doolally insane. It's like, right, I'm locking myself up here, because if I stay here, I'm just gonna have tons of sex with prostitutes, and it'll be awful.
And what a way to live.
Yeah, yeah, and then there's something that he eventually got released back home to America, because he was American or something.
Of course.
Of course. Well, obviously he wasn't Canadian, he wasn't Brazilian if he goes to live in America, was he? And apparently the same thing started happening. He started hearing the Irish again, and it was off doing prostitutes.
Well, that's the best thing. Other than that, it's blatant racism or xenophobia.
Yeah,
the Irish are coming in. Like.
Everyone hated the Irish back then,
No blacks, no Irish, no fairies.
What the fuck? I think it's called The Surgeon of the Oxford Dictionary or something like that. It's a really good book. It's a really good book, but it's very mad. How did we get there? Dictionary, sleepwalking. Yeah, Shawn was fucking sleepwalking. Jesus, that's all
definitely
it was.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous in itself. It is. You got to look after your kids, but like, you have the alarm on. That's what the alarm is for. And you're like, oh my god, I wonder what's it off the alarm? Jesus, lads.
Yeah, it's just sleepwalking. So as soon as we got to her, she came out of her trance. Yeah. So it's textbook.
Sleepwalking. Yeah.
That the whole thing say you should never wake up someone who's sleepwalking. It turns out to be total lies, as most things in life are. You should wake people who are sleepwalking so they don't hurt themselves.
I know, she'll be grand. She'll wake herself up. She's going to get hit by that Honda. She'll be all right.
Yeah, she'll be all right. She's in a dream. If you die in a dream, you don't really die in the real world. It's not it. There is no spoon. What are you on about? So, there's lots of really great, entertaining footage the whole way through of things rapping, alarms going off, things going upstairs, so everyone runs upstairs. And one of the reviews at Amazon goes, there's way too many camera angles. But in fairness, it's like he really knows it's a well done documentary. There's like 4 angles and everything. Every room has a camera. All of those things that you give out about on other haunted things. We go, well, why isn't there a camera in that room? There's cameras on fucking everything, so that they're not missing anything. But then there's the psychic woman comes in.
Yeah. The clairvoyant from Long Island.
She genuinely looked terrified at one point, though. That when when the shoe moved an inch, everyone freaked out. She wasn't happy with that room at all. She says, your man's just standing now. But like again, like they have the whole thing worked out. So like there's different angles. The like without the standard, the color correction is exceptional in this. The editing's quite good. There's none of the kind of da-dum music at all, which there is obviously some kind of creepy music in different places, but overall very, apart from the ending, which is just so much I had. Spud goes, well, the ending, what the fuck? What's that about? Discord going,
he's so quoting what I wrote to him there.
Yeah. I've never seen you so annoyed since the ending of the Bill Drummond documentary.
Bill Drummond, I felt exactly
the same ending.
Motherfuckers. What the fuck is with people and can't end fucking woo documentaries properly? The fuck is wrong with them?
So anyway,
Bastards.
the mother rings and goes, hold on, I'm not sure, I probably should have mentioned this. This might be relevant or might not, but I think I know who the ghost is and kind of always do. They went, oh, this changes everything.
Yeah.
So obviously she has seen this terrifying photo that the Iroquois computer came up with, which is, that just the whole thing was...
Awful.
And that's another thing why I think the whole thing is staged and faked, which is fine. It's entertainment, you know. Because number one, if it was true, then they've definitely proved ghosts exist. If that's a proper documentary, and because we don't believe the ghosts exist as a society, it's probably not a true documentary. You know, it's not going to stand up in court. But he's sitting looking at these Iroquois images, Prozac, as into it as he's into the piano playing out of nowhere, you know, as Judy Garland, all of these things. He's taking it as serious when everyone is looking at going, this is fucking ridiculous. You know, this, like, it's like a shadow that vaguely kind of looks like nothing, and then another shadow that vaguely looks like nothing, and then this horrifying face of eyes that looks like a Bela Lugosi, you know, film poster or something. And
it looks a bit like it looks a bit like the what was it called, the saint in Preacher. A bit like that, and horrible.
Yeah,
no, that's what I thought I saw. Well, not thought I saw, but like.
But that seemed to have just like keeps going. There's this, and then all of a sudden they just present that. They don't say where to seen it. They don't, you know, what room it was in, or well, it was all from the kids' room, wasn't it? But like no, you know, pull out and show us. Is it you know, a poster on a wall? You know, it's just kind of a thing. And so the ending, I was at this point I was kind of phased out a bit.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
because your one is like, oh, I know who it is now. It's like, well, what? But she doesn't say. It's like. What is like? Is it your dad? It's your dad, isn't it? Because that's what I was thinking. It's your dad. It's definitely your dad.
I think it's your
definitely
dad,
your dad. And your dad touched you. Isn't that what it is? Isn't that what? That's definitely what happened. Isn't that what happened?
I think.
Well,
it was
then again, she was a bit too forgiving, though, wasn't she? Because she was like, you know, whatever. We didn't get to say sorry to each other, blah blah. So okay, I retract that. He probably didn't.
It's definitely the said it was like. They didn't want to mention it because to upset family members or whatever, or what usually from a legal point of view is there's obviously still relatives alive that will sue if you say in a documentary that my dad is haunting you, or you know, some sort of maniac or whatever it is. But it gets very vague, which it's just kind of you know, this kind of wishy-washy story with no details, and she's just kind of sit there beside two blow-ups of these images, and you know, this kind of
looking ridiculous. Yeah.
Looking ridiculous, like it's like the end of the game show. And he goes, "Well, what would you say to people who you know, don't believe in ghosts?" He goes, "Well, I was that person." And he goes, "Yeah. So how's it feel to have staged an entire documentary of lives in your house?" So overall, I would give it as an entertainment an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I think it's done exceptionally well. I think if it was a kind of lost footage or found footage movie, it's as good as any of them in that kind of sense. The quality is brilliant overall, but it's 2 out of 10 because it's all lies. That's how I see it, basically. It's too good.
I really want to believe it's not all lies, but there's too. It's not that there's too many. I still think it was good, and it's definitely worth watching.
Good. Yeah, definitely.
But like when would I stop it? Maybe when the Iroquois guy comes back and shows the photos that he's kind of retrieved from it or whatever, the data that he's turned into photos. That's maybe where I'd stop it and then say, oh, we have to do a part 2 or something. Then I would have stopped. Would have been still a shit ending because, you know, I've invested 2.5 hours or something to watch something, and then there's a
it's really because it's not a short thing. It's 2.5 hours and it's not complete. His previous one, the Dice Haunting one, is a 2-part one. So I'd say it's following the same method or the same idea, because you obviously make more money over 2 documentaries than 1 3-hour documentary or whatever it is.
Shit, just make it an hour. Just learn to edit properly and make things an hour.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if the TV shows, like, whether it be Hellier quality. I can say, like, it's as good, if not better, quality-wise as Hellier from a production point of view. Like, Hellier's top class, you know, but it's on par with that kind of a better in places, I would say. That they just have more money.
I did a little bit of reading up on him, and apparently he the big difference between the older ones and the newer ones is that he's after hooking up with a production team which isn't necessarily the camera people that we see, so it's other people working behind it and giving advice on the set, not sets, but like, okay,
the sets,
the sets, you know, and like make sure there's a camera here.
Writing the scripts, that kind of stuff, is it? Yeah.
Writing the scripts. Exactly. I'm not saying that. I still don't want to think it was fake, but that's because this is the only one I've watched. You watched another one.
Yeah, I watched the first one of the Dice, whatever, it's Dice Road or whatever it is.
Dice
and
Road,
it's,
I think. So.
It's very similar, other than there's more interviews with people. Something definitely weird happened, whatever it was, 10, 20 years ago. So it's kind of a history. So there's, there's that element which is slightly more, can't be faked. But there's plenty of, of rapping, tapping, things turning on, things moving that you're just, I don't know.
Yeah. See, I would have liked a bit. I would have liked if there had been a bit more of a search or a reveal into like who this kid Victor was and his family, and if they could find that on his background or the family's background or stuff like that. And as well, like having this thing that like the evil ghost is like, oh yeah, he's just someone I know, and like fuck him kind of thing, and I'm sorry, he's sorry, we're not sorry, blah blah blah. It's like, well, that's not really good enough now, in fairness,
And also, it doesn't solve the problem of him haunting you.
Yeah.
Oh, I know how it is. That's grand. It's grand. It's grand. Don't worry about it. Stop hitting me. Stop locking me in the basement. Come on. I know who you are now. Stop it. Stay away from that piano.
They do a test. A thing, and I haven't seen this in years. You ever seen it before with the pencils?
No, that's very interesting. Definitely going to do that.
I had seen that years ago. Yeah.
Charlie, it's called or something, isn't it?
Charlie. Yeah, you get a piece of paper and you draw. How do I describe this, Tommy?
A cross.
You draw lines you draw a cross at 45 degrees, not a straight cross. Yeah. If you get like an X, there we go.
An X. Yeah.
And so
that thing exactly what it is. An X.
So you write yes and yes on the north one and the west one, and then you write no and no on the south and the east gaps. And then you put two pencils. Sorry, you put one pencil up along the lines, and then you balance the other pencil on top of that pencil across the other X of the cross. And then you ask the spirit the question, and then the pencil will move according to the yes/no. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it moves according to how, the air comes out of your nose and the answer that you want. Yeah, that's something like that.
You always have to be the fucking voice of reason, don't you? What happened here? This was the opposite, me and you. So what have you done to me?
It's because I want, I think, I'll tell you, I know exactly why it is, because there's so much bullshit in magic and the occult and all that I know there's something proper and real in it, that if we concentrate and point at the rubbish, then that kind of negates and lessens, a kind of
okay,
what's that word of if when you try to talk to someone, go, no, there's definitely something here, and go, oh yeah,
so
Charlie.
It's like listening to a Spice Girls album 20 times so you can enjoy Nevermind one time.
Yeah, something like that.
Why would you bother?
Because maybe I like Spice Girls. But also, don't get me wrong, I went into that documentary wanting it to be. I didn't go away. I never go in as a debunker. I get horribly saddened at that point of, do you have a phone charger? Where you just go, oh, here's another one that's doing the same thing. But no, it's like, it was great. It's a brilliant ghost hunting documentary, as good as one as you're ever going to see. It's like, has everything going for it. The jumps, the good story, the terrible ending, the funny bits that aren't meant to be funny, the production quality, all of those type of things. But that game, though, the Charlie thing, that it's something I think we should do. That's something that's very easy to do. Like that, it'd be a great kind of YouTube video. Must get back to doing the
Ghost Bothering.
Yeah, that was really good. All the what was it, Necro? What was that thing, Necro something app that we were using?
Oh, the app. I think I still have it on my phone if I can find it here.
Because that's good fun. Like, that's all. That'd be interesting you to do that, to try and talk to Minerva, though. That would be like, see if you could get anything coming out of it.
Yeah, I'd love to get one of the proper kind of radio scanners that does it. But the problem for me is that obviously I'm living in Poland, so I wouldn't pick it up as good, because there's no English language radio stations at all. Polish is all right, but like it's not that good to pick up snippets.
Yeah, but the ghosts in your area are hardly going to speak English, are they?
You would expect them not to. Do you know what? I wouldn't even know what the fuck language they would talk, because they probably wouldn't even speak Polish, because depend on when they died. Like if they died 100 years ago, yeah, it's possible they'd speak Polish, but they'd mostly speak German. And if it was 200 years ago, they would definitely speak German and maybe some Polish. And if it was 1,000 years ago, I don't know, Celtic, whatever fucking language that was, some type of German, whatever. You know,
Yeah, some kind of Norse, Swedish inspired.
Yeah.
Just to finish up on the thing before we go, I tried to do a search on do your standard Steven Shippy debunked kind of thing, or the haunting on Brockway Street debunked.
What happened? Something happened on my screen there. What the fuck is going on, man? You were getting orbs and something weird fucking.
Yeah, you've got like a halo around you or something there. Like you're very, very white looking, I have to say. That's almost to the point of Spud is freaking out.
I'm getting scared here. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, hello, anyone there? Just open the door into the little room.
Just open the door and someone goes, you don't have a phone charger, do you?
Imagine. Oh, that's weird.
So anyway, I'll just keep talking to the ghost behind you while you sort your life out.
Yeah, be nice to her.
But so I tried to do some search up, the usual on debunking and seeing people coming up against him. And there's not much. They're like Amazon reviews given out about him. People don't like the fact that Stephen Gonzalez is in it. But in general, there's no YouTube video of someone going through and pointing out. Way if you put in ghost hunters debunked or most haunted debunked, there's any amount of those type of things. So that's that's good. I mean, it's like I two minds obviously about it. I think it's great. And I definitely will watch more of them. And top quality, but it's definitely in the entertainment category for me. With the hope that that they're not lying. But at the minute, everything just seems to be a lie. Like that link I sent you this morning was 5 documentaries that are essentially lying to you.
Yeah, that's awful, huh? Fucking Spurlock and Supersize Me, bastard.
Yeah.
Jesus,
and I really like him and all his others. I've watched all his stuff. Apart from he was like one of the people who came out, isn't it? And Me Too as well. But it's just because he had an affair, which I don't know. Is that the same? I don't know. Go back to that other conversation again. He had an affair with a secretary. What an awful man. But maybe he's awful. I don't know.
Great,
I don't know anymore. No, it doesn't make him a good person. But, by any means.
The Sugarman thing, when I saw it first, I was like, well, he was apparently famous in Australia the whole time. It's like, well, who gives a fuck about Australia? Maybe some fucking kangaroos would fucking recognise him or something. Yeah. But you were like, no, well, man, it's Australia, like, it's kind of big,
Yeah,
you're right.
And just that kind of thing of that, I didn't know anything since the 60s. I just thought that was something I did for a week in the 60s, but like, it's like lies. And then a couple of the other ones, just like, it just seems to, especially I was watching that documentary I sent you the link to, it's really good. It's called Hired Gun, and it's about the music industry and the people who are, hired for bands and, who play, like a lot of people whose guitar solos or guitar lines are on albums, so you think it's the actual person in the band. It's not, it's some guy who's brought in to do it and all this kind of things. And it's just kind of leaves it showing you just how, all of the things that we kind of, it's like the drum sound on Metallica's album being a lie. You kind of go, damn it.
You're
just
really
damn
upset
it.
about that, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is like the fifth
But at the same time, brilliant, brilliant, because it's still my favourite drum sound of all time, no matter what way to get it. But it's just kind of going like, so what, all my years, the time I spent watching a year and a half in the life of Metallica, dreaming the dreams, how great it'd be to record, to then find out 20 years later, go, they just lied. They just lied to you. It's no problem.
Yeah, it's like, like I presume that like at, say, a U2 concert, there's like at least 2 to 3 other guitarists underneath the stage.
Yeah, there's definitely one, because they've admitted to at least one.
Yeah, like it's impossible for him, because he uses so much delay and chorus on his guitar. It's impossible for them to play those songs with only one guitar. So why don't they just have the spare guy on stage, like say what Pearl Jam do with their piano player? Like he's on stage, they don't hide him.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers, when they played with Dave Navarro, they had a second guitar player without a light on him on stage. You know what I mean? Like he was just there, and it's like they're going, he's obviously playing, but they can ignore the man behind the curtain, as much as you can.
I don't get that. Like, just let him be part of the band, man. It's just the touring band, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's that one I told you about, the Motown one. The Motown one's great.
Right. I must watch that.
I don't remember the name, but there's a Motown one, and it's about the band who played on all of the Motown songs.
Right,
and that's cool. And none of them went on to any riches or anything, but like they're just being nostalgic about it and just going, yeah, man, we were part of Motown. It's fucking amazing,
Yeah, there's a terrible story in that Hired Gun where there's a guy who's after coming off. He was a guitar player, as far as I know. He's coming off tour, and he finished the tour or whatever, and he'd been hanging around with all these people or whatever. And he's to make money when he's not on tour, because you come off the tour and then you're broke again. His brother-in-law has a painting firm, so he goes painting. And so when he was painting this house, and in walks Matt Sorum. And I goes, Jesus, I know you. He goes, yeah, we hung out at all those gigs in, Europe and in Germany. He goes, all right, yeah, how's it going for you now? He says, well, I'm painting your fucking house. How do you think it's going for me?
Great, yeah. I always wanted to be a painter of walls.
Oh, and Billy Joel doesn't come off good in it at all. Jesus
he's
Christ.
not supposed to be nice anyway, though, is he?
No.
You know?
He bet up his wife and all that stuff too, apart from all of that. Like he's
did he?
Like, yeah, so my mum keeps telling me every time I mention him. But
how often do you mention Billy Joel and your mum?
I know, over the years. Oh, you see, Uptown Girl, you see, I would tout as the perfect pop song.
All right.
So I do. So it probably comes up in one of those things like Uptown Girl, perfect pop song, Metallica's drum sound. I should just not, have ideals or put things on pedestals.
Drop your ideals, man. Your standards are just too high,
Yeah.
Drink some cum. Goodbye, Tommie.